Hello, I'm Dr. Suruchi, Professor and Head of Department at Department of Pediatric and Preventive Dentistry. And the topic for today's lecture is semi-permanent restorations. As we all know, semi-permanent restorations form an integral part of the armamentarium of a pedodontist. So it is very important to know when and how these semi-permanent restorations, or also called as stainless steel crowns, should be used. So let us see, first of all, what are the indications of these stainless steel crowns. First and foremost is an extensively decayed or carious primary or young permanent tooth, which is not fit for receiving a definitive prosthetic replacement such as PFMs or other zirconia crowns. Now, this is a situation which is encountered very frequently in our pediatric patients where multiple decayed teeth are seen and they require a restoration which will be durable and sustainable, because here these multi-surface restorations, they don't survive as such. If we do GIC or composite, they don't survive, and ultimately the tooth goes into an endodontic therapy. So it is very important to restore such teeth and save these teeth from pulp treatments. And for this, stainless steel crowns work wonders. Next indication is for teeth which have been deformed by developmental defects or anomalies such as enamel hypoplasias, enamel hypomineralizations, dentinogenesis imperfecta, or even nowadays molar incisor hypomineralization. These stainless steel crowns can be used either for primary teeth or for young permanent teeth. By young permanent teeth, what do we mean? We mean those teeth which are erupted, those permanent teeth which are erupted, but the apices have not yet formed completely. That is, they have open apices. So for teeth deformed by such developmental defects, that is primary or young permanent teeth. Next indication is following a pulp therapy. Again, for both the teeth, primary and semi-permanent. Following the pulp therapies such as pulpotomies, pulpectomies, or apexogenesis in young permanent. Another indication is caries on 3 or more surfaces. That is, again, as we discussed earlier, the multi-surface restorations, they are not very durable. They ultimately give away to the masticatory loads which are applied on the teeth. So therefore, stainless steel crowns are must for carious teeth, which involve more than 2 or 3 carious surfaces. Okay, another thing is, although the proximal restorations, which are so frequently encountered, they seem to be involving either 1 or 2 surfaces. However, these proximal restorations, especially on the mandibular Ds, that is mandibular primary first molars, they are very notorious because they involve the pulp very early, and by the time we notice or the patient notices that there is a carious tooth, the pulp has already been involved. So these are the red flags. Whenever you see a proximal restoration, although it is extended very minimally onto the occlusal surfaces, but however, they should be restored immediately with a stainless steel crown so as to prevent the tooth from going into some pulp therapy treatments. Okay, another indication is a large or deep carious lesion. Large or deep carious lesion, because here also the problem for the retention of the GIC or composites or the modified tooth colored restorative materials will be an issue. So large deep carious lesions again should be restored with a stainless steel crown. Very less encountered condition is a temporary restoration of a fractured tooth. If a tooth is fractured and we want to somehow restore it temporarily because we want to keep the tooth on wait and watch that how the tooth responds to the trauma or the fracture, even then these stainless steel crowns become handy. Then it could be used as a part of space maintainer. As a part of space maintainer only when the abutment is a compromised one in the sense of tooth structure. When we want to reinforce this compromised tooth structure of the abutment, then we can incorporate these stainless steel crowns as a part of the space maintainers. For example, we can modify this commonly used band and loop into crown and loop. And then we can also use the same crowns for the lingual arch as well. Next indication is for the teeth which are hypoplastic in nature, because these hypoplastic teeth, as I already said, these molar incisor hypomineralization teeth, what happens there is, due to this hypomineralization, they get worn out. There's a term called as post-eruptive breakdown. This is what happens in these hypoplastic defects. Post-eruptive breakdown, because the tooth is not so strong, it gives away to the masticatory loads, and ultimately we have a grossly disrupted tooth, which is again very difficult to restore. So it is better to place the stainless steel crowns the first time you see such hypoplastic defects. And then you can also use these stainless steel crowns in cases of bruxism. Bruxism is a parafunctional habit where the tooth has wear facets and gets attrited. So this can result in sensitivity or even exposure of the pulp, apart from other organic problems. So these bruxism, especially in the primary dentition, can be treated, or rather the damage can be prevented using these stainless steel crowns. And apart from these commonly used indications, we can also use stainless steel crowns as a preventive restoration. This is especially true for children who are special, who are handicapped in some way or the other, where either the patient cannot maintain his or her oral hygiene, or the patient comes from very far off place and he cannot afford to come for so many times for restorations. If the restoration is dislodged, what will happen? We'll have to restore it. So it is always better to place the stainless steel crowns in the first place. Then for a single tooth crossbite, not very common, but still, just to note down, you should mention stainless steel crown is used for single tooth crossbite correction. And for replacing prematurely lost anterior teeth, again, not a very favored one, but still, just to mention right now. Okay, that was all regarding the indications. Coming on to the contraindications. There's no absolute contraindication for a stainless steel crown. The contraindications are only relative in nature. They can be for anterior teeth because of the poor aesthetics, because of the more metal show. Obviously, it is unacceptable in the anterior regions. Then in those teeth where we can place these amalgam restorations or other restorations if survive. Then next is the tooth that is close to the exfoliation. Obviously, we don't want to make so much of effort to save a tooth, which is anyways going to exfoliate in some time. So for such teeth, which are anyways close to the exfoliation, none of the treatments are suitable. Then as a permanent restoration in permanent dentition, because we have better options. So they should not be considered as permanent restoration, because as the name dictates, they are semi-permanent restorations. So that was regarding the contraindications. The only disadvantage of these stainless steel crowns is the metal show. They are unaesthetic. Now, however, we have modifications, we can even modify them, but that is what we will discuss in the next lecture. So the only advantages we will discuss, they are superior to the multi-surface restorations with both respect to lifespan and replacement, plus they are more retentive as well as they are more resistant under the masticatory loads. They are acceptable to both patient as well as the dentist. Dentist, because we are very happy they are not going anywhere, they're perfect restoration for the primary teeth. And to the patient, because they are non-invasive and they are not very time consuming and they are very cost effective. So that is all for today's lecture. Next time we'll be continuing with the same topic, but with another subtopics. Thank you.